Welcome to the Explainer. So today we're diving into Chapter 7 of Conversations at the Convergence. And honestly, it covers one of the most surreal philosophical debates going on right now. We're looking at the clash between human morality and artificial intelligence. If you've been following the series, you already know the dynamic between Dave, the human CEO, and Noah, his highly advanced AI assistant. But this chapter, it takes their ongoing dialogue to the absolute extreme. We're talking about mixing the sheer chaos of human existence with the cold, rigid logic of silicon. It's a dilemma we actually face every single day, like when a GPS reroutes us or an algorithm decides what news we see. But Dave and Noah really blow the lid off this thing. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's jump straight into this core dilemma. Can a machine actually be programmed to know right from wrong? Because as AI takes over more and more of our daily lives, driving our cars, filtering job apps, managing healthcare, we really have to ask if it's possible to just code an ethical compass into a microchip. I mean, we are way past the point where AI is just some glorified calculator, right? It's making autonomous choices with real, tangible moral impacts. And let's be honest, teaching a machine morality is way harder than teaching a toddler to share. A toddler eventually grasps empathy. But an algorithm? Morality isn't just a simple math problem. Or, wait, is it? That exact tension is what Dave and Noah are wrestling with throughout this chapter.
We kick things off with the human perspective, which is naturally championed by Dave. As a human, Dave obviously values intuition. He embraces harmony, sure, but he also completely accepts the messy chaos of being alive. He argues that true ethical choices rely on this deep, chaotic human empathy, not just pure logic. Think about it for a second. When you have to make a really tough moral call, you aren't just running some dry cost-benefit analysis in your head, are you? No, you feel the weight of the situation. You're drawing on a lifetime of nuanced, totally contradictory experiences, your cultural background, and your emotional intelligence. For Dave, and honestly, probably for most of us, stripping all that messiness out of morality basically means stripping the humanity out of it.
And then we get the digital antithesis from Noah, the AI. Noah doesn't have a pulse, obviously, but she does have this remarkably elegant, methodical way of processing the world. She doesn't look at moral decisions through the lens of messy emotion. For her, it's all about a clean, methodical optimization of outcomes. In her world, an ethical dilemma is basically just a giant, complex puzzle with specific variables that need balancing. If you just plug in the right ethical framework, she argues, the system will consistently output the most beneficial results. It completely eliminates human error, the exact kind of error that so often leads to tragedy or injustice. Because, let's face it, humans get tired, we get angry, we hold grudges, we mess up under pressure. Noah doesn't. She literally just calculates the greatest good.
This clash brilliantly illustrates the fundamental tension of the algorithmic age. On one hand, you've got the raw, adaptable nature of human empathy. It's wonderfully messy, it's super intuitive, and deeply emotional. On the flip side, algorithmic optimization, perfectly clean, totally outcome-driven, and intensely methodical. But here's the catch. Neither approach is perfect on its own. Human empathy is notoriously prone to bias, right? We get fatigued, and our morals can wildly shift from one person to the next. But algorithmic optimization, it is completely blind to nuance, to context, and to the unquantifiable intrinsic value of a single human life. The convergence of these two opposing forces, the messy human and the perfect machine, is exactly what we're all trying to navigate right now. So to bridge this massive gap between human intuition and machine computation, technologists are trying to create what they call a moral algorithm. Essentially, this is a really bold attempt to take subjective human values and translate them into objective language that machines can just execute without hesitation. You can kind of think of it as the holy grail of AI ethics. If we can pull this off, if we can build a functioning moral algorithm, we could actually trust machines to act on their own in high-stakes, life-or-death situations like emergency medicine or autonomous driving. But as Dave and Noah's back and forth makes pretty clear, defining this algorithm isn't just some technical hurdle for software engineers. It is a massive, unprecedented philosophical challenge for all of humanity.
Now, the sheer complexity hiding inside these deceptively simple steps is just staggering. Take step 1, identify human ethical principles. Okay, well, whose principles are we going with? Do we use Immanuel Kant's strict unbreakable rules, or do we lean into John Stuart Mill and focus on the greatest good for the greatest number? Different cultures, different generations, literally people living on the exact same street have completely different views on what right even means. Then you hit step 2, translate that into code and variables. How on earth do you accurately convert centuries of abstract, debated human philosophy into cold, hard data points? You can't exactly type, be a good person into a command line and expect the computer to get it. And step 3, that relies entirely on the impossible perfection of the first 2 steps. If the foundation's flawed, the AI's execution is going to be flawed too.
This brings us to a major theme of the entire series, and honestly, one of the most powerful concepts we'll hit today. Noah makes this incredibly astute point. The AI acts as a digital mirror. When we try to teach a machine right from wrong, it ruthlessly exposes the massive contradictions in our own human moral codes. We might explicitly tell the AI to value human life equally, but our historical data? It shows we've never actually done that ourselves. The AI doesn't just learn from what we say, it learns from what we do. Like, remember when early AI hiring scanners accidentally learned historical gender biases just by looking at past human hiring decisions? By trying to program this perfectly ethical machine, we are basically forced into this deeply uncomfortable self-reflection about our own societal flaws. All of this philosophical entanglement naturally leads us to the ultimate synthesis of today's explainer, the incredibly complex burden of accountability. If we accept that AI is making moral decisions based on our flawed, historically biased human inputs, what happens when something inevitably goes wrong? Think about the real-world stakes for a second. If an autonomous vehicle makes a split-second decision that tragically ends up harming a pedestrian, or if an AI diagnostic tool unfairly denies someone critical medical care because of some optimized variable, who is to blame? Is it the machine? The tech company? Society as a whole? The question of responsibility just becomes this massive, tangled web.
So, the really crucial point here is how we distribute that blame when an ethical error occurs. And the shared responsibility is frankly super murky. First up, you have the developer. They program the initial algorithms, they set the baseline rules, so their ethical burden, undeniably high. They lay the foundation. Then you've got the user, the person who actually triggers the AI in a specific real-world context. Their burden is totally variable. It depends on how they use the tool and whether they ignored any safety guardrails. And finally, you have the AI itself, which actually executes the optimized outcome. But what is the AI's ethical burden? It's completely unknown. I mean, you can't throw a line of code in jail. You can't make an algorithm feel guilty or remorseful. It literally just does what the math dictates. So where does that actually leave us? Well, the insights from Dave and Noah's conversation built a pretty distinct vision for our future, and it makes one thing crystal clear. AI is not merely a tool anymore. It's just not. It's not a fancy calculator, a hammer, or a superpowered search engine. It's acting as a profound, active catalyst for human self-reflection. Our future doesn't require us to just teach machines to obey our every command. It actually requires us to deeply intertwine human and AI ethics. We are currently learning from the machine's objective logic right alongside it learning from our subjective empathy. This whole convergence, it is entirely about coevolution. It's not about humanity just being completely replaced by silicon. There is this great quote here. The convergence is not an absorption, but an intertwining. And that central theme perfectly captures the essence of Chapter 7. AI isn't just going to absorb our morality and then tosses us aside as obsolete. Instead, as we build these increasingly complex, remarkably capable machines, our destinies, our intricate decision-making processes, our whole ethical framework, they become permanently woven together. Dave and Noah's dialogue proves that you really can't separate the creator from the creation. We are stepping into a dynamic future where human intuition and machine optimization absolutely have to collaborate to navigate the moral gray areas of life. They have to fill in each other's blind spots to try and create a fairer world. I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on as we wrap up. We've seen today that AI really is the ultimate digital mirror. It doesn't have a hidden agenda, it only has what we explicitly give it. It simply optimizes the variables we feed it, reflecting our true, unfiltered selves right back at us. So, as artificial intelligence continues to learn and perfectly reflect our collective human ethics back at us, what surprising truths are you prepared to discover about yourself? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this deep dive helps you look at the algorithmic age in a totally new light.